Who is it? Vinny!
Hey, dude, are you there?
Hey, what's up,
I'm
my
here,
brother?
man.
How are you,
Dude,
man?
I don't have a scary story, man.
I was like, I'm gonna have pretty much a heart attack. I'm like having a heart attack, but I can't scream or anything. Basically, laying on the floor, panicking.
Oh!
No, you weren't. You built the place. I haven't seen the Hopi in thousands of years. Don't make fun of my people. Period.
Sorry,
I'll pull out
grandfather.
your ass and cut you up into little bitty bits.
Facebook page down because people said Richie from Boston's gay. He's gay. I'm gay. I'm a gay man.
And I mean, yeah, I mean, you can prosecute me for that if you like.
No, it's not why I'm doing that. I'm just saying there's a lot of...
That is what you did. Bigelow started buying websites, including one in British Columbia, Canada. So all of a sudden, this kind of triggered Brian Vike.
Welcome back to Third Phase of the Moon. Blake Cousins here. We've got a special report for you. We've got a few UFO videos that we want to share with you.
Welcome back, everybody. Blake Cousins, along with Orlando Smith and Brent Cousins, we're going to be going over incredible imagery.
Third phase of the moon. Third phase of the moon.
Ten, 9, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff.
You were either in or you were either out, brother.
But the cream will rise to the top. Oh yeah.
Ooh, all right. Welcome to GUFON, everybody. I am your host, Rich Giordano. Hey, it's Saturday. Yeah, this is probably, I don't know if we're going to be doing Saturdays anymore. Just want to make that announcement since I restructured everything the other day. But I'm glad you guys are here. It is the last day of May 2025. Yeah, May 31st. Yeah, this year's halfway over. Okay? And where are we in ufology? And where are we in everything else that is going on in this community? Because I got to tell you, it's been a decent year so far. And continuing from where we were last year when November, the drone situation started. And I think that was just something... to bother Trump for 3 months, but it's still going on to this day. One thing that we can't seem to get enough of are whistleblowers. And tonight, I've got Jon Stewart here. He is waiting in the wings. In about 1 minute, he'll be joining us. You know who he is. Come on. Do I have to teach my Gufonians who Jon Stewart is? You know what? No, I'm not. I'm not going to tell you. He's going to tell you now. You know the alien interview, Victor, right? We all talked about it. You all know. And what I'm excited about is this Lue Elizondo investigation. How did I not know? What is wrong with me that I did not know this was happening? Oh, I'm so glad John's here. So without, as they say, further ado, I'm going to bring him on. Jon Stewart, let's see if this works. We never use this platform with a guest. Let's hope, pray, and wait, here it comes in 3, 2. There he is. Hey, John, how are you?
How are you? I can't see you, but if you can see me, that's fine.
Oh, is it just the way it's set up for you?
I don't know. I've got a picture of like a purple and orange sunset
Oh, so you
on my
can't see
screen.
me. Okay, well, yeah, I see you, and we see you. Thank you
Good.
for joining us here. I can't believe it took a minute to get you here. we
Yeah,
we've
no,
been going
I
back and forth.
appreciate, yeah, I really appreciate you, uh, understanding the situations I've been in and stuff, and how busy it's and crazy. I'm not coming off as Joe important, but I had a crazy week, and I just want to tell you I appreciate you
Mm,
accommodating me, and for interest of your viewers and listeners, I contacted you. I think over a year ago
yeah.
because anybody that's either skeptic or in the know of the UFO world, I can't broaden my investigation of 6 years into the Victor interview if I don't talk to people that have maybe a different opinion or a different mindset or could lead me in a better direction. And that's one of the reasons why I contacted you. I wanted to be on your show. First of all, I find you very entertaining and highly interesting. And well, I'm just saying
I
I speak the
appreciate it.
truth. And your comments are revelatory, and that something must have happened for me to go, I got to get on Richie's show. So I'm glad I'm here, and I just wanted to say thank you.
Oh, wow. I can't believe you said all that. Thank you. And it is an honor to have you here. I haven't had a lot of guests on recently because of health issues and stuff. It's hard to keep schedule.
Yeah.
But now that we're breaking through on that, you're kind of like the kickstart of getting guests back. And what a way to get it going again. And having you on, I thought would be a great idea too. It's like I can't
Yeah.
believe it was a year already, if not more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thanks,
Crazy.
I
Well, thank you for
appreciate it.
having
Yeah,
me. Yeah.
yeah, it's great. You're
I
welcome.
appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks. And I think we're almost, I think, the same age too. So maybe we
Yeah.
grew up.
Hell to
Maybe
get
there's.
old.
Do you- it's not fair. Do you know
No, it's not.
you are? And I showed my mother. You look just like my mother's brother, my uncle. Yeah, it's amazing how
Isn't
much
that weird?
you look like him.
I have a couple of doppelgangers in life, so that's not the people that have come up to me. I had a doppelganger all through high school and college, folks. I'm not lying to you. And his ex-girlfriends would come up to me in bars in Chicago, and you son of a bitch, you didn't call me back. And I'm like, till I finally realized when I was about 25, his uncle approached me, and he's like, "Oh, you're not my nephew." I'm like, "Wait a minute. Who is this guy that I look like?" And he's like, "His name is so and so." And I'm like, "Do I really look at him?" He goes, "Dude, you are a dead ringer." So yeah, I got a lot of doppelgangers.
That's amazing, though.
I'm
Um,
cloned. Okay, here's the first bombshell. I was cloned.
hey, it's true. You probably
Never
like the
know.
Matrix. It's the Matrix.
That's right.
There's
That's right.
copies of us, just a little bit different, right?
I
I,
believe that. Yes,
yeah, I think we all might have a doppelganger out there.
that's right. That's
One,
right.
somewhere that we might cross paths with someday, but it's rare. Um, where are you right now? It's so beautiful,
Yeah,
that setting.
yeah,
Thank you for
and
setting that
yeah.
up.
Oh, no problem. I'm at my summer home, my family summer home, I should say, in the UP. Not many people realize there's two Michigans, and the upper Michigan is over the northern Wisconsin border. And it was a little noisy in the cottage, so I came out on our patio and to do this interview. So yeah, it's great part of the country. My parents have had this since like '63, so
Wow.
we're kind of opening it up for the summer, and
And
so yeah.
you're
Yeah.
wearing, I guess, a windbreaker. I mean, it's got to be what,
Yeah, it's kind of
60?
cold out here. It's like 60 degrees. So
Wow.
I
Yeah,
look
that's real
I,
nice.
I got a blanket over my legs. My wife is like, "What are you, a freaking old man out there?"
Yes.
But I got
Hey.
shorts on. I'm free. It's chilly, and I got to do my Richie GUFON interview. What the hell?
Well, oh man, I could already tell this is going to be fun. All right. So, man, starting this, I was like, how am I going to talk to John? What do I talk about first? Now,
Yeah.
I talk to so many people, and, I always say, oh, I'm going to ask this or ask that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to ask you something that everybody's probably already asked you. How did you go? How did you get into even the Victor thing and all of that? Like, what got you to want to
Yeah.
research that? Like, what were you doing that led you there? And then did you quit doing what you were doing and went full time researching
Yeah,
it?
well, I think you'll understand this, being that we're the same age. I was the kid of the television era. I mean, television really started to get into its bloom, so to speak, in the 60s and 70s and even the 80s. And even though I played tons of sports, I had tons of friends in school, on my block in Chicago, I still was addicted to TV. It was like heroin to people, kids our age. And
Hmm.
and in the 70s, just a little kind of interesting ufology, cryptozoology history for people out there younger than us. In the 70s, Rich, if you can remember, documentaries started to make more of an appearance on TV, from the end of the world to Bigfoot to Loch Ness Monster to Jack the Ripper, and of course UFOs. And I was just completely captivated by all of it. I always had an open mind to anything. I believed in a lot of it, and it was just good TV. So I was
Yeah.
naturally inclined to be open to it. I was fed really interesting information. I had ADD, so visually, I was a very visual kid. So things on TV, really gravitated, which is probably why I played, football. I got into pro wrestling because I saw it on TV. And so when I saw this Victor alien interview, and I laugh at myself and I tell the story a million times. I'm hearing alien interview on the UPN network, which was a startup network. This
Right.
was not on Fox, as people think, and as I thought at one time in my memory. This was on an upstart UPN network. And Richie, I'm thinking alien interview, like we're going to see a weird looking human with a clipboard handing a general, the
Yeah,
clipboard
yeah.
back at an interview in the Pentagon for a job. I didn't even think that this was what I was going to see. And
Hmm.
when the real interview came on, whether you believe it was a animatronic alien puppet or the real thing, I was struck at I had a lot of, I was struck at its bad, and I know I'll blow people's minds, like he's debunking himself. I was struck by the bad production quality. There was a stool in the shot. There were two military people in military uniforms in the foreground that you never saw their faces. The medics were in short sleeve scrubs, not pressurized suits to really hype up that this was a off-planet being that we don't know anything about. And the being was tan. It wasn't gray. It
Yeah.
had round eyes. It didn't have the typical gray, almond shaped eyes. And I'm doing remember Ben Affleck in Good Will Hunting when he's in the bar and he's doing the something. I'm like, wait, this is the worst freaking hoax on the planet. Nothing is making sense. And then when I heard Victor speak, Victor the whistleblower, who brought this alleged alien interview, he's still to this day the smartest, most intelligent, scientific man I've ever heard speak in
Wow.
my life. And I've talked to senators and and physicists, and it's the most intelligent person with his verbiage, his words that I've ever heard speak. And I said, just wait a minute. I'm saying this to myself. I'm like,
Yeah.
wait a minute. Schlocky video production company that was putting out a Rodney Dangerfield golf VHS tape all of a sudden has a really good, really elaborate animatronic alien whose mouth is opening, skin is moving around the eyes. It's in real time. There's no cut to it. Yet the production of it is horrible. The stool in the thing, and it's not well lit, and people's shoulders getting in the picture. I said, this is either a run of the mill real extraterrestrial, or this is the shittiest hoax I've ever seen, but with one hell of an animatronic doll. And lastly, I said to myself, Victor is not an actor. I don't know where they got this guy from. I don't know if maybe they met a scientist that might have been in the program, or maybe one of the production people met, a really a really educated person that was in some sort of government program, because everyone told me he speaks like my project leader in a government program that I said, something's wrong with this video, Richie. I don't know what it is. I hope your people can appreciate this. I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's fake. Something is not right. A schlocky video production company with this really expensive animatronic doll, and them finding the most intelligent person I've ever heard speak. I just simply said, something's not right. And because of that, and I'll finish here, it stayed in the back of my head for 25 years.
Oh my God. Well, what were you doing? What kind of work were you doing when you saw this?
Well, at the time I saw this, I was a full-time automobile wholesaler traveling around the Midwest. I was a part-time pro wrestler on Fridays and Saturdays. And not to brag, just telling you why I don't know how this grabbed me. I was also running for the Illinois House of Representatives. So I was having debates and doing campaign stops on Sunday afternoon and evening. I was like full bore, pedal to the metal. And this video, this documentary, just freaking grabbed me. And I guess that's maybe it was the timing of it all, that I just can't, and I still to this day cannot shake how I felt about this documentary.
I'm putting up a video of it showing him being examined. They come in and they look at him, and then it goes into Victor in the shadows. I'm just showing little things here so people get an idea of what we're talking about. I mean, some people still don't know everything, Now,
either do I. 6 years and $30,000 later, skeptics hate me because they can't debunk me, because every interview I go on, I go, I don't know shit. I mean, yes, I've got a plethora of alleged whistleblower testimony, alleged top secret documents sent to me, all these people telling me things about this video. But bottom line is, I still can't look you in the eye and say, I know for a fact this is real. I do know one thing. It was filmed by the government. Whether it's faked by the government or not, it was filmed by the government. And I will tell you why I 99% think that it is.
Why? Yeah.
But I still don't know it's 100% real, folks. So I hope you'll enjoy the journey tonight of you're not walking down this path of an idiot that's like, I know it's real. Trust me, bro. Don't trust me. I don't trust me. Or I don't trust all of the facts. I have to keep an open mind until the day I die, or when I have this alien puppet in my hand, or I see the body in formaldehyde. We'll never know the answer. And that's unfortunate.
I watched your couple of interviews just to get caught up, and
sure.
What did you ever find anything out about that the blip that went vertical? You were trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Well, I'm showing people now. What is that?
Thank you for asking that. It's again, folks, I am 6 years into this. I could not find anyone. Please listen to me, folks.
Oh, I'm
on your side. I can't find anyone to conclusively, in a court of law, to a retired FBI agent or a police officer, conclusively prove to me why that's fake. Meaning, you see that little shoulder there? That's an animatronic piece. It sticks out. You can get it at the scientific animatronic store, and that's why it's a fake. Not one person. I'm still waiting. And so, but here's what is happening, Richie, and what has happened. I get an internet angel to emailing me, Mr. Stewart. You have to see Whitley Strieber talk about this blip, this screen, this alleged heart monitor in the video of your alien interview. Yeah. And before that, 2 years earlier, real quick, I contacted Hewlett-Packard and Space Labs, who made physiological monitors in the 90s when we were told this was made, this alien interview. None of them, after seeing the video, knew what they were looking at. I contacted 3 PhD fellows who were doing the history of physiological monitors. I sent them the video. They're like, we've never seen this before in our life. So I went literally in an hour to the experts. He sent me a video, Whitley Strieber. Now, how could a video production person know this in 96? Whitley Strieber goes, I think there's a lot of controversy about this video, and they pull up the alien interview. He goes, I think this is real, and I'm going to tell you why. And at that point, Richie, I'm going, what the F is going on? Whitley Strieber is going to prove this video. He said, do you see that? Listen to me, folks. He said, do you see that green blip down by the alien on the bottom of the screen? I saw that green blip, that very same blip going up and down like this when I was writing the book Communion, which became a New York Times bestseller about his abductions with gray aliens. He said, when I was in my office writing the book Communion, I saw that green blip. This was in the 80s, off the corner of my eye, and I would put my finger and or thumb over it. It would show through. I could not get it out of my vision. I think it's the way the aliens who abducted me were trying to communicate with me while I was writing this book. Richie, I fell off my chair. And then he goes this, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just telling you what happened in my life. He goes, I never till this day told anyone about that green blip. So what's it doing in that video from 1996 when I haven't told anybody until today, which was 2016? How did the producer know to put a green blip that I saw into that video? How? Explain that to me, folks. And then the video ends. So that is the whole physiological monitor. We still don't know today what it is. We do know it was a device that we think was made by the government. Hewlett Packard told us they think it's a one-off, one, not a production run, one specially made piece of equipment to perform one specific task. We did have a whistleblower who said, John, these gray aliens are vibratory, if I'm saying that correct. They emit like static electricity. And a couple of security guards at S4, which may or may not exist, had to put Vaseline on their hair of their arms because the crafts, who said they're still almost like biological living specimens, would give off a static charge. And this whistleblower said those gray aliens give off a static charge. And I think that device was made by Bell Labs to monitor the essence, my language, to monitor the essence or vibrations given off by that being as an overall indication of its health. If it was bouncing erratically, maybe it was in distress. If it was bouncing normally, maybe the emanations were saying to the monitor, being transcribed in the monitor that the being is doing okay. When the being starts its respiratory attack, that blip goes crazy. So who's right? I don't know. All I know is the experts in the world have no idea what that was. And when we did a $2,500 analysis, we found that there was a metal bracket around that glass. It was a man-made device, and someone told me Bell Labs made it to pick up the vibration of those beans. Wow. Folks, I don't know whether that's, but the bottom line is this. How did a producer, and I'll ask this a couple of times tonight, how did a schlocky producer from a second-tier video production company magically know that that green blip is how some beans are measured or their overall well-being is measured? How did a production company know that? So
right. That makes so much sense.
Richie, the skeptics hear that and they start doing the Potomac two-step. Good luck. No, don't tell me luck. Bullshit. Next, anybody else got a good answer? Because I don't have one.
Well, there's a couple of questions in the chat already.
Let's go.
From Sky Allen. This is pretty interesting. And I never thought of this, but why does the alien constantly move? Then he says, I know for a fact the aliens, ETs are real, but personal experience for years. But why does the alien move the whole time? It's just fidgety.
Great question, Sky Allen. Thank you for the comment. By the way, I told Richie, fire away. Folks, I don't claim anything. So any help, if you think you're going to bust me or a gotcha, there's no gotcha. I want to figure out the truth with you, with the whole UFO community. So I hope you appreciate that.
Well, you never made any claims that anything.
Thank you.
Just did the research.
Thank you, sir. I'm just the messenger. Thank you for
That's
saying that.
it. Yeah, that
I really respect you saying that right now, by the way. I was told that many of these beings, the gravity, let me get this right. The gravity on Earth is a little heavier than they're used to. This being was in captivity for a while. It was frail. So it doesn't have the muscularity, and it's not used to a little bit of a heavier atmosphere than it's used to. So it gets hunched over a little bit, and their neck is situated. This is many insiders. This is not
Yep.
about my being specifically, that the neck is positioned. Human beings, our spinal cord is at the back of our head. These beings, the spinal cord, or what you call it, is in the middle base of their head. And so they do. I've had many abductees tell me, John, they have this weird, jerky, almost like a old time movie movement about them. I've had almost all abductees have told me, I don't know if it's real or not, but it moves the way my abduction beings move, like this jerky, just oddly moves oddly. And many people have told me they think it's because of our atmosphere is heavier than their atmosphere back on their planets of their origin.
So
Do
he's
I know
just
that for sure? Don't know. It's a good question, but it's a good answer, I
it
think.
is interesting. I never even thought of that. But
Yeah.
it could just be really uncomfortable, kind of like restless leg syndrome or something, or who
Right.
knows.
I know many of them have neuropathy, a nerve problem.
Yeah, I
And
got it.
that translates physically. I've got it too. That translates physically of all sorts of maladies with them. The overall perspective of abductees tell me they move like that. They move weird. Some that have seen them walk said they almost waddle like a duck. Others say they kind of float eloquently, but 99% of the abductees say they have this weird type of head jerky movement.
Huh.
Do with that as you may.
I
But a
guess,
good question, and thank you for asking that.
yeah, it was a good question. Thank you, Sky Allen.
Yeah.
Jason Semero, how you doing? He has a question too. Now, going through this,
Sure.
I'm only looking at clips here, but how long, he's asking, how long is the uncut reel? How
Oh my
long is it?
God. Another
You know.
great question. So we found out about 2.5 years ago that this 3-minute version was part of a much larger version that was
Oh.
56 minutes in length. And I'll get into the document, which is, I think, one of the most explosive documents in all of ufology. I will get into that later. That was sent to me. And in that, the document said this clip was removed from a 56-minute reel. And I talked to a whistleblower. I said, wait a minute, this being is in distress about 15 minutes into the interview. Didn't they cancel the interview? And he went, no, they kind of stabilized it and the interview went on. Because the United States government, that's the most important thing. God forbid we should treat an off-planet being with courtesy and respect. They stabilized that alien according to my whistleblower, and the interview went on for another 45 minutes, which bothers me a little bit. That means that we're treating them more like cattle than an ambassador or a visitor. And I want to also say, I was told that outside the interview suite, down the hallway, was a conga line of 3-letter agencies waiting to get into the interview room to ask or insert their questions to this being of the question that they had. The CIA, NSA, you name it. I heard there was 3 or 4 3-letter agencies waiting to get in that room to ask that beings their sets of questions. Very kind of, it seems like a very cold meaning, non empathetic and very very clinical, and that bothers me. But that's what I was told. 56 minutes long.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to see
Yep.
that someday.
Yep.
I forgot what I was just going to ask you, but it'll come back to me. So with this, you said there was a document.
I'm so sorry.
You're
Oh my
cutting out.
God. I know.
That's okay.
Yes. I hit my. Okay.
Oh,
Can you
knock
see
it
me?
over. Yeah,
I
you're
knocked it
you're good.
over because I'm a hyper nut.
It's all right.
Okay. Sorry.
What was I asking? Oh, okay. So 56-minute video. Oh,
Yeah.
I know what I was gonna. Okay, so I have to put you on the spot because
Of course.
don't you think it looks like a puppet?
Okay. Let's really. Let's really talk about that.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
everybody wants to know.
When you whistle past this, it's a the majority of the video is an alien head in the blackness. I mean, come on. I mean, anybody would say whistling past this, not really, the confirmation bias. There's no way I'm ever going to see a real alien. It's got to be a puppet.
Yeah.
When you start to hyper examine it, okay, and I'm just telling you what you see when you hyper examine it. Number one, that is not the way the original VHS tape looked. The original VHS tape from Victor, it had a bluish hue, a bluish color, closed circuit camera fuzziness to it. So and they showed a little bit of that in the original documentary, but
Okay.
nobody ever wants to think about that. So the original documentary, the original video was not darkened at all. You see the being's thorax, its arms, its neck, its entire face. It was a bluish hue, very close circuit camera looking. The production company darkened it for dramatic effect, and that really helped. That really helped the discredibility of it. Does it move like a puppet? Yes and no. When you hyper examine it, the mouth goes like this.
Yeah.
And we've had special effects people like in 96 to do it that quickly opening that, those are some good remote control cables. I then go, will you please look at this part of the video where the mouth is angled at top and angled at the bottom, almost like fish lips. And they're like, well, no, it would only be one set of remote control cables, either chevron or circular. And you see them like almost like, well, how did a schlocky company do this in 96? You see micro movements around the ocular cavity above the eye. My question is, why would you spend thousands of dollars to put remote control cables in the skin over the eye, but you can't see that in the video, but only 25 years later, a crazy bald guy from Chicago goes, oh my God, the skin is moving. When my editor for my little documentary that I made on this, when she was doing hyper close-up examination, she's like, Mr. Stewart, this is a little creepy. I'm like, Sydney, what's wrong? She's like, his skin is moving. She's like, Mr. Stewart, in one moment of the video, one eye is like this and one eye is like that. She's like, I did
Yes.
special effects.
I noticed
we
that.
made one eye bigger and one smaller. She goes, Mr. Stewart. I'm like, yes. She's like, in another 3-second clip, the bottom of the eye is flat and the top is round. She's like, she's like, I don't know how they did this. And
John,
I said, Sydney, this was go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say
Go ahead.
I'm showing people exactly that, the original video, the blue and everything.
Yeah.
And somebody was showing the military badge and all this other side face of telepath that says here. But yeah, everything you're saying is true. The eyes are different.
And,
it's so weird. It looks so much better this way.
And again, Victor's frustration when he comes back in 2008, tells us he's dying, which he didn't, which he wasn't. His frustration of, is this UFO community out of their minds? No one has done any serious examination. No one's done any FOIAs about S4, this facility. I risk my life. And no one is taking this seriously. And the documentary person goes, well, there's a lot of people that believe it's real. He goes, but they're taking it as face value. I want people to examine this. And he goes, and to the puppeteers, if it's so easy, make one in your studio over the weekend. If it's so easy, in 25 years, do you know how many people that have done it? 0. We have asked puppeteers, make one. I've got an appointment. We've had animatronic people who have huge freaking egos. I was a wrestler. I was around some egos. these special effects people have egos bigger than Hulk Hogan. And it's like they're almost embarrassed to admit that it's really good. And we finally had a couple of special effects people who said, there's one moment, listen to me, folks, where I don't know how they did that with the alien. And I'm like, excuse me? He's like, I'm like, you've been doing this for 20 years. You're telling me that there's something in that aliens movement that you don't know how to do it animatronically. And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, what is it? He goes, well, I thought this was a static puppet sitting there on a pole and maybe somebody's hand in the thing, but the chin is too small and 5 animatronic people. He goes, but at one point, the alien goes forward, chin up, head to the right, opens its mouth, and then it moves up. So it lifts itself up, moves forward, head up, tilt, and mouth open. He's like, I mean, this is a guy kept telling me off camera. He's like, Mr. Stewart, I can't do it. I had another guy, another FX people. It's all anonymous because they don't want to. They have to ruin their careers. He's like, John, those eyes are biologic. He goes, does anybody not see that? They have a sheen on them that appears like biologic, like a deer's eyes. And he said it, he goes, I watched it to the very end. The being actually, this is a special effects person writing me, because I'm not the expert. He's like, the being sits back. He goes, he looks exasperated, like he's dead. You know, he has no more energy. He goes,
It does.
we can't fake that even to this day. We can't animatronically fake exasperation. Like, oh my God, you know, I can't go on anymore. So you know,
That's
again,
funny.
till I have the puppet in hand. And I want to say one last thing on that, or the alien and formaldehyde will never truly know. I just want to say this. The land of braggarts and self-patters and guys that want to score with chicks at Hollywood parties. Listen to me, folks. In 25 years, not one human, that's all I want, one human being has ever come forward to say, I built the alien. On that 3 minute, not the recreation, on that 3 minute video, I did craft catering. I did wardrobe. I rented the sound stage. I knew the doctor on the being's right. I knew the doctor on the left. I did one of the animatronic guys. I built that
Right.
special effects monitor. Not one person in 25 years, no documentary ever has ever had this happen. Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot. It's always somebody comes forward to say, I was in the suit, or yeah, I painted the Loch Ness Monster before we threw it in the water, or the Loch Ness Monster. Not one person. Can anyone explain that not one braggart in Hollywood would say, I was the guy that built that alien doll? Not one person. I'm 30 years later. I'm waiting here, and not one person will come forward. Why? Why? When you can answer that, you've solved the riddle. I've never, it's never happened before in any shockumentary of any kind. Not one person, because people like Stephen Cambia, it's been debunked. By who? Well, it was filmed in a garage. I proved that it's not filmed in a garage. It's Bob Dean. We finally found Victor's face. It's not Bob Dean, and they just keep moving the bar, and moving the bar. You know, just give me one person. Give me the person that went and got the general's wardrobe at Central Casting for the two that are in the foreshadow. Just anybody, not one person.
What if, as David Wilcox, not Wilcox, Wilcox said in the chat room, what if they're dead? Could they be?
You know what somebody else told me from Hollywood? Is it possible if it was fake, the government did it, and all those people have 45, 50-year NDAs, and that's why no one's coming forward, because the people that created that might have been in the government. And I'll tell you at the end of your show why there are two things that no one in the UFO world can explain to me how they got onto that film, that how a video production PA would have known this about the government and the alien program. But that will be the bombshell I hope we get to at the end.
I don't know what to say. Whether I mean, to me, it doesn't look real in some areas, and then I see what
I
you say
agree.
about the mouth,
Yeah.
but it's in the eyes, all that stuff you said. It all makes sense. I get it. We all see it, but
Richie,
damn
can I
it,
say one more thing? Can I?
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
mean to. I have COVID brain, pro wrestling brain. So folks, forgive me if I interrupt
it's
Richie. I
okay.
know it's.
Uh,
I spent $2,500 of my wife and I's money. I still get heat from the Italian Irish wife that I have. I get reminded of this daily. I had a special effects video analysis take that film. He was hired by National Geographic to do the Patterson Gimlin, the
yeah,
1960 Patty film.
sure.
Again, going to the top, like the physiological monitor people. I hire a guy National Geographic's hired. He takes my money. He takes the film. He said, John, I think it kind of looks fake, but there are moments, that mouth opening, the misshapen eyes. He's like, I've been doing this for 40 years. That's Spielberg-esque animatronics. Wait a
Yeah,
minute, folks. I'm like, well, Bill, thank you so much. He goes, I just can't tell you conclusively. He goes, but one thing, it was filmed on 16 millimeter. I'm like, okay, anything? He's like, John, in 1991, the only people filming on 16 millimeter was a couple of art house, UCLA movie people or the government who did it use 16 millimeter still for audiovisual documentation. And I verified that. And I'm like, okay, is there anything else? Folks, please listen to me. I'm just telling you what a National Geographic guy told me. He's like, there's no creases under the armpit. And I'm like, okay. He's like, John, I've been doing this for 40 years. Every foam latex doll has some kind of indentation or crease under the armpits, if you can see my arms up. Because when they
yeah.
make the doll at 75% of the drying process, they have to let the arms come down. He was emphatic. He said for 40 years, every single creature you've ever seen has some sort of a dent, indentation, or crease in the armpits since the 50s. He's like, and he sends me 30 pictures, examples. And I'm like, yes. And he goes, your alien doesn't have creases. I'm like, well, Bill, what does that tell us? He's like, I don't know. He goes, this is like a new technique,
Hmm.
in animatronic. I said, Bill, it was Rocket Pictures that did that if they faked it. It was Rocket Pictures that was doing a Caddyshack video. You mean to tell me they acquired Spielberg-esque technology? And even Bill Mumps from National Geographic was like, I can't explain it. So we have 4 special effects people who just take an honest observation, all telling me I don't know how they did certain parts of it. Again,
You you want
make
to know
make
what
of
I'm
that as you
thinking of?
will.
You know
Go
what
ahead.
I'm thinking of when
I'm
you say
thinking.
that?
Tell me.
No, I'm just thinking of it's a one-off. That's why. It's a
It might
one-off.
be. It might be. But we know what the budget was, and we've also been told what would have made to make a pretty elaborate animatronic alien like that is. And I'm not saying it's not, folks. And the money, because we follow the money trail through this investigation.
Yeah.
Follow the money, and there was no money to do this elaborate doll. And if it was, then somebody created an animatronic doll that defied anything up to that time. And God bless them if they did. But I'm just telling you what the experts told me. I'm a car dealer. I can tell you 30 ways why a Corolla is a Corolla. If I tell you, geez, I really don't know why that's in this car, Toyota didn't do this, that would probably say something like, maybe it's not really a Corolla. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
You,
I think it's a crazy part of this investigation.
you just gave me some sort of analysis on what ufology is kind of like. It's almost like selling cars. If you think you have evidence, or
It is.
let's use this because you can say all the good points, and there's going to be people say, yeah, but Honda's better than this, and there's always going to be that all
Right.
pushback all the
And
time.
Richie, I'm glad you brought that up, and I wanted to tell you this, and I wanted to tell your listeners and viewers this. I am one of the only people in ufology if not the only person that did not gatekeep any information. And Richie, you know I've taken heat on other things that have been emailed to me, like the Lockheed firefight where people were killed. That was then proven by Jake Barber about this invasion thing where this DARPA scientist emailed me that something's coming in 2027 and everybody crucified me. Now that Ross Coulthard is saying it, now it's real. I'm just saying, I didn't gatekeep one piece of information. And I went directly to the public to say, here's where I'm at now. Here's what I found now. And I got excoriated for it, made fun of. He's a used car salesman, so on and so forth. And the last thing I would say, I'm one of the only ufologists in history that tells you the other side of the coin. I tell you what the experts tell me, who might say it's real, but then I also tell you what skeptics say, because I have no credibility if I can't tell your viewers both sides of what I'm hearing. That's all I wanted to say.
And then you're just selling. And right?
Exactly.
It's not
Then you're
research.
selling a narrative, and it's not research. Thank you.
Thank you. Which brings us to, and my gosh, I mean, right, perfect timing, to your investigation into Elizondo. I know we just talked about 40 minutes of, Victor and the alien and all that, and we're just kind of cutting it off right here. But unless anybody had any more questions I've been waiting for more questions about it. Nobody else has said anything.
Yeah, Richie, can I just say two things if we don't come back to it?
Yep.
The number 27 in DNI on the bottom of that film, that cost about $2,000. It's called digital overlay graphics. Now, remember the monitor that no one was ever told about in the world that Willie Strieber said. The number 27 from 3 people that were stationed at S4 in Groom Lake is called Yankee Black. That is the code name to get into, if it's real, these extraterrestrial retention and interrogation underground facilities. The code name is Yankee Black. I am saying something that could get me in a lot of trouble, but the code number of Yankee Black is 27. I want to ask you, how in the hell did a video production PA in Southern California, I found out this 27 a year and a half ago. How the hell did a production assistant in Hollywood know to put 27, that 20 years in the future, a crazy bald guy would be told that 27 is the exact number that correlates to what's called Yankee Black, which is the code name, the security level to get into these alleged underground facilities where extraterrestrials are held, retained, housed, and interrogated.
That's insane.
How? That's why I say, if it's fake, I believe that 15% the government did it because no one would have known to put that code on the bottom of that film. No one except the government. That's it. That's it.
That's
so let's talk
interesting.
about Lue. You goddamn straight. That's interesting. No one can explain this. All the skeptics and the and the and the e. Nobody wants to explain how this production assistant knew about the green blip and the number 27 and the DNI, which we have proven through 5 people that Bob Lazar's Department of Naval Intelligence, which officially does not exist to this day, does exist. A United States Senator told me, a former CIA director level employee told me, a naval aviator said he was recruited by the department, not office, Department of Naval Intelligence. And we have the Department of Naval Intelligence in a Canadian brochure for a security conference. Game, set, and match. Bob Lazar was telling the truth about the DNI. I don't know what Bob did at Area 51. I know he was there for 92 days. I'll push all my money to the center of the table on that. Don't know what he did, but he is right. The Department of Naval Intelligence exists. And how the hell did Bob Lazar in 1990 know about an agency that officially still doesn't exist in 2025?
Right.
And then Ricky, you get the tippy two step again. Da, 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 da. You're a crazy fat Italian guy. You're a car salesman. You're fake. The alien's fake. Okay, I'm done. Let's talk about a real puppet of the government, Lue Elizondo.
Yeah, well, so now you're gonna. I love that was the best segue, and I think we've had this year.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. But I am not a big fan of Lue. I think I pegged him the second day he was here, but I want to know, like, what were you doing that when I know you're in ufology now, and then he comes along in 2016, 17. What were you doing that made you want to go and do this investigation on him?
Well, very simple. I was a former pro wrestler. I was a former college football player. I'm not bragging. Bear with me, folks. I'm a car dealer. I'm a ufologist. I can tell you every specific nuance of everything, even though I have terrible brain, memory issues. I can tell you the nuances of everything. I know all the promotions I worked for, the basic dates of when I worked, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
You've got this guy coming forward who says he was in counterintelligence. First red flag. Not that you can't break out of that and go rogue or say, look, I think this was my job, but now I think the information comes out. Counterintelligence. He comes forward, and let's talk about the first thing. We don't even need to talk about it. He doesn't really know exactly what the true name of his department that he worked for. ATIP, all SWAP, Arrow. It's this. And folks, and I remember Richie talking about this, so he's not bullshitting us. Richie, I remember you talking about this. And then not only does he not remember the agency's name, he's not real clear or defines what his role was. Were you the vice president? Were you chief counterintelligence agent? Were you the director? Were you the liaison to so on and so forth? So this guy that everyone in ufology right now is like, oh, Lue. It's a guy that doesn't really know what agency he worked for, what their call name was, and he wasn't sure of his own role, whether he was director, liaison, coordinator. Are you effing kidding me? Are you kidding me? I mean, if that would have happened to me, the UFO community would have ran me out of town on a rail. That's number one. Yeah. Huge red flag. Number two, and I'm giving you a bombshell right now. I know a person who directly talked to Lue. And I'm going to tell you the whole story, and it's not a long story. And Richie and your viewers, take this to the bank. So Bigelow and Chris Mellon, who I like, were running out of money for their own pet projects for, that crazy ranch, whatever, I forget the name of it, for other things that were esoteric in nature. Bigelow and Mellon, two billionaires, Skinwalker, were running out of money. Billionaires don't use their own money, folks. So they said, we can go to Congress because the Harry Reid money dried up. No problem. Hey, if you got 20 million from Congress, God bless you. So Reid and Mellon figure we can go to Congress now because Harry Reid's like, no mas, no more money. They wanted to formulate a plan, listen to me, folks, to go to Congress to get more research money. They figured that since they didn't really find anything definitive, Congress wouldn't bite. So they enlisted Lue Elizondo, and through a manipulation, and I'm going to say this politely because I like Chris Mellon, through a little bit of manipulation, a little legalese, a little maneuvering of the paper. This is first-hand knowledge. A little manipulation of the paperwork and getting video that was not classified. Folks, are you listening to me? NASA says the Tic Tac video was an unknown drone going 40 miles an hour. NASA, with their physicists. It wasn't going hyper light speed, as Lue said. Mm-hmm. And they got this video of the Tic Tac and the fast mover. I didn't do any research on the fast mover. And do you think the Pentagon releases top secret video to Chris Mellon and Bigelow? No, it was not classified as this top secret, ultra top secret magic, Majestic 12 documentation. And through a little bit of manipulation, they got the Pentagon to release this unknown drone going 40 miles an hour. Are you listening to me? Then they lied to two friends of mine who interviewed me for my investigation, Leslie Keene and Ralph Blumenthal of the New York Times. And because Lou was, I'm director of ALSAP or OSWEP or whatever, they get the article in the New York Times. Congress doesn't bite. Folks, firsthand knowledge. Congress does not bite. They don't give them the money. Bigelow and Mellon cut Lou loose. Like, what do you need him anymore? We can't get any more funding. We're going to move on. And Lou tells my source firsthand, they fucked me. They fucked me. Bigelow and Mellon. And Lou tells my source, okay, I'm out in the open. I want to do documentaries. I want to write books. I want to do conferences. I need to make some money because I've been cut loose by the Pentagon. So right away, before he comes really full speed into our community, he wants to make money. That's a grift to some degree. Wants to write books, do documentaries. He's not saying to my source firsthand, by the way, I want to tell the world what they need to know. He comes into our community with, I don't know the full name. I'm not sure of my directorship or what my role was, and starts giving nothing but as Stephen Greenstreet says, hobgoblin and ghost campfire ghost stories. No documentation. No Jon Stewart holding up top secret alleged documents. No Jon Stewart holding up video. No Jon Stewart telling you whistleblowers' names, dates, FOIA requests, telling you everything, pictures. He comes with utter ghost stories. Unlike David Grush, who went away because David knows I don't have any proof. I told my story and now I'm gone. And I love David Grush, by the way. So now Lou has got all these ghost stories with no proof. Everyone's licking him up. He gets a big book deal and he puts out 2 debunked photographs that he completely lied about. I'm going to tell the world what I know about this guy. Again, I respect his military service. I really do. I respect what he did. I think he is an hyper intelligent individual. How dare you come to my community that I've worked my ass off, that I've taken my licks, and you lie to my friends, my skeptics, and my followers. You freaking lie to us about 2 photos that you didn't even vet, and all of your stupid ghost stories. You don't produce one piece of document. I'm looking for a page of a legal pad where he had notes of, I met this admiral, and he's nothing. And when he came out with that second photo of the farm field irrigation thing, I'm like, this guy is full of shit and I'm going to expose him. And that's what I did. And what I had was first-hand knowledge of someone who talked to him directly. And I think Lou needs to go bye-bye and let the cosmic door hit him in the ass on the way out.
And is he
40 miles an hour tic-tac. It's going light speed. It is?
Oh,
NASA's
no.
wrong. Physicists said NASA is wrong. The tic-tac was going 40 miles an hour, Lou. In your chandelier photo, in your irrigation disc, get the fuck out of here.
It's a shame. Did you ever see Who's Lou, the documentary that Manny from Area 503 made?
I did it, but I would like to. I've seen one other documentary on Lou and a bunch of podcasts that just like rip him to shreds. But I have firsthand knowledge of what the story was.
Oh, yeah.
Mellon and Bigelow cut him loose. They effed me, and then he said, I want to go make money. On the backs of my friends and my followers, in my cohorts, in my skeptics that I love, in my podcasters, in my community. This is the way you're going to treat us with bullshit and ghost stories? Get out of here.
Wow, you sound like me. What the hell?
I know.
You doppelganger?
What do you think I called you? What do you think I called you for? We're like brothers from another mother. It pisses me off. We do not deserve that. We do not deserve this bullshit grifter. And he's still out there getting paid to go to conferences and book deals. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And if no one is going to fight for our UFO community or join the fight, I'm going to join the fight. And that's why I released that 3-minute, very brief video of my investigation of Lou with firsthand knowledge. It's all bullshit. It was all bullshit.
I thought that was like a trailer for a 2-hour documentary or something.
No, I just got pissed off. I used a voice AI and wrote what
Yeah.
I knew and put together the photos and said in the beginning, my name is Jon Stewart. This
Yeah.
is my year investigation on Lue Elizondo.
Yeah,
Totally
that was
upfront.
pretty good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Came out
Thank
really
you.
good. And
Yeah.
you have we're gonna still talk. I'm just now looking. You have the YouTube channel Hunting Victor Investigation, right?
Correct.
That's you?
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah,
That's
I'll
correct.
put all the
Which I
links to
don't update
this.
a lot. I do it. I appreciate that. I do it from time to. I put stuff out from time to time. Again, I'm not. Don't want to be a grifter. When I put out that my alien interview case closed on Thanksgiving, it was $8. Like you're buying me a cup of coffee. I'm at $30,000 right now of my own
Wow.
money for the investigation.
Oh my God.
I've got
Oh,
skin. I've got skin in the game. I've got skin in the game, folks.
man.
So all I asked was $8. I've never tried to be a grifter, and I've never gatekeeped. I never tried to gatekeep any of my information. I'm very, very proud of that.
I have the 2 minute and 20 second, the video you made. I want to play this. So if you want to get a drink or something like
Okay.
that, I want to
Okay.
play this. So, maybe give us a chance to drink or something.
Go
But I
ahead.
want people to see
Great.
this now. All right,
Thank
here
you.
we go. Yeah, thank you, man. This is fun. Here we go.
This is Jon Stewart, and the following video is the result of a year-long investigation and first-hand witness testimony.
The truth about Lue Elizondo and why it matters. I followed this story from the inside out. The truth about Lue Elizondo is far from what's been spun for public consumption. His role in the Pentagon's UFO program was never official in the way it's been portrayed. It began as a hobby. But when promises of money and fame entered the picture, Lue became a willing participant in a broader scheme. He was approached by Robert Bigelow and former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense Chris Mellon, who saw potential in Lue if he could deliver information that might sway Congress to release additional funding for their interests. To do that, they orchestrated a campaign that included leaking the now infamous Tic Tac video, footage NASA later assessed as a drone traveling at approximately 40 miles per hour. Not a craft performing impossible maneuvers. The Pentagon was outmaneuvered by its own insiders, and journalists Ralph Blumenthal and Leslie Kean were misled in the process. When Congress didn't take the bait, Bigelow and Mellon pulled out. Lue was left behind. His quote, is telling. What followed was a shift from strategic deception to theatrical distraction. Books, documentaries, interviews, and ghost stories. But the truth remains, Lue Elizondo has provided nothing of substance. No physical evidence. No breakthrough disclosures. Just recycled narratives and debunked footage dressed up for prime time. This isn't disclosure. This is disinformation. I say this not as a conspiracy theorist but as someone who has spent over 5 years conducting serious, first-hand investigation into classified programs like Project Aquarius. I ran for office. I know how Washington works. And I know when a con job is being dressed up as national security. Wake up. We've been fed a story designed to mislead.
Pretty cool. So, do you have you ever had a conversation with Lue?
No, and when he first came public, I emailed him twice. Like any researcher would, like, if you're obviously in these programs or have knowledge of that, can you give me any information on this video? Do you see anything in this video that strikes you as a glaring hoax, or this might be something that is, related to how government does audiovisual documentation? Have you ever seen this type of being in your in research or documentation in your job without giving away any national security? And he never emailed me, and that's fine. And that's not the reason why I did that. I did that video because I had firsthand information, and I believe our community was completely being led astray. And we need to have people in situations that propel us towards the truth, not hoaxers that pull us away from the truth. And Lue is pulling us away from from finding the truth of this phenomenon, which is all we want to do.
But don't you think it's falling on deaf ears anyway? Because nowadays with the internet and what people know, I know new people are in it all the time, but really, the common knowledge is we know aliens are out there. They could even be here. Maybe they're not aliens. Nobody knows. I think people get it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I do.
If I don't think what he did helped anything progress towards disclosure or anything like that. I just heard him talk in circles, and I can't tell you this, and somebody told me this, and he never had a name or nothing with his signature on it.
No. Yeah, I mean, I just don't think he belongs in our community. I think the community should stop giving him any kind of attention or any kind of a platform. And I think that that any distraction, I'm sorry, any distraction is going to pull us away from disclosure. If we turn a blind eye to Lue, that is going to send a signal to those in power that, boy, they're not taking this bait anymore. Are we really backed into a corner? And that's what I am trying to do with my investigation and in the UFO community. Politely, respectfully, without revolution, back the United States government into an uncomfortable corner and have them, as I coin it, come out of the closet in regards to the UFO phenomenon. That's it. This is how we're going to get disclosure. We are not going to get it by having Lue headline a UFO conference. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I've been in it now 21 years, and all I see is a replay with different people. Like 10, 15 years ago, it was Doty, and some of those people are still hanging up. They're still around, but it doesn't change. It just gets put in a different package with the nice new bow, and they say, "Oh yeah, you don't know anything about this." But I do find the drone situation very interesting. What is your take on that? Because they've been around for a while, but in November of last year, so when Trump got inaugurated and all that, that's all they talked about were drone, UAP, drone.
Right.
Well, what's your take on that? Why they did this?
My take on it is very simple. I actually spent a week investigating it for Hannibal TV, one of your other UFO podcasters, Devin, great guy. Spent a week investigating this. Number one, it had most of them had some sort of FAA, federally regulated warning collision lights. So, unless aliens are abiding by FAA regulations, it wasn't aliens. That's a fact. So whether maybe another country or our country, they had FAA anti-collision lights. Number two, why did the government interdict them? Why didn't we shoot them down? Why didn't we send up Black Hawk helicopters, F-16 jets? Why did we let them fly over air bases? Well, because those that needed to know knew this was a government program that I believe was testing hyper secret new drone technology because they weren't shot down and there was no, it's called interdiction. There is a threat in our airspace, especially after 9/11, and we're not sending up any planes or combat aircraft to interdict these drones. Number three is that we've seen this before. I uncovered stories in California from the 80s where it was the same tap dance, where local authorities did not know any answers. They went to federal authorities, were frustrated by and getting stymied and stonewalled by federal authorities. They went back. They still did not know what was up in the air, what we were seeing. And I went and I saw the same MO in other stories in the 80s that dealt with the first appearance of the stealth fighter. There were local authorities in California. The residents are nervous and worried. What is this in our skies? The local authorities went to the federal government like they did in New Jersey and all up and down the eastern seaboard. The federal government was stonewalled and bums the word. There was no FBI investigation because those who truly in the know knew what was going on. It was the end of the Biden regime testing these new high-tech drones. That's what it was,
Yeah.
folks. And this is all
Yeah.
bearing out my investigation. Not me, like I'm brilliant, but what I discovered is now bearing out into the public. Because there is no answer why these things weren't shot down and why they all had FAA lights.
Yeah, right. Well, I got a great question here about the Lue situation from Dorothy Hawkins. So many, she says, in the UFO community share your view of Lue, but they've been harassed for discussing it. Have you been the subject to any kind of group harassment since investigating Lue? Thanks, Dorothy.
Well, I mean, I this might be my ego, but I thought it was common knowledge that I'm one of the most maligned people in the UFO world. I mean, not debunked. I've never had anything debunked because I don't say anything that I'm
Right.
not sure of. But like just the vehement, the vitriol. You know, it's everything from you're a fat sausage salesman to a used car salesman, fat
Oh, yeah.
crazy-eyed Italian. I mean, these people have ripped me to shreds. So yes, I have felt all of the hatred of whether they're loose supporters or whether they're from the government. And I think it's common knowledge. And I actually produced the documentation from the Apple Corporation and from a military insider who said I was the victim of Stingray Centipede, which was a counterintelligence NSA program on my phone that wiped all my emails twice. I've shown the documentation. I've shown the forensic audit from Apple. So other than David Grush, I'm the only person right now in ufology that has proof of harassment from the government. So I'm touching or have touched on something in my investigation that is poking the bear of the Pentagon. I don't know exactly what that is, but it's happened, and it's been terrifying to my wife and to my children and to myself, and affected my business life where I can't find emails. Emails were stolen. It was hell. It's calmed down now. I'm not going to keep hyping it up like, oh, I'm being stalked right now presently, because my lawyer sent Mr. Stewart's done with his FOIA requests, his appeals, and it all calmed down. But there was a moment for a year and a half where my phone went absolutely haywire, and I have all the documentation and the police reports. So yes, I have felt the brunt of the UFO skeptics and haters and the United States government. And it sucks.
I know it does, man. I'm sorry you had to go through that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, Eversore in the chat was wanting to know because what disinfo is Lue doing except those two bogus pictures? What is he really doing? That's disinfo. Eversore, thank you.
Yeah, what a great Jesus, what a great question. I don't think he's doing much, except there's a part of disinformation, for what I've been told, where you're just stirring the pot. And you lead people here, then you lead them here, and you might send out something that you made a mistake is false, and you don't ever hide. You keep coming at people, and all you're doing is putting different ingredients and watering down the intelligence of a certain group on a certain subject. And that's all Lue is really doing right now, is watering down. First of all, he's a financial grifter. I'm sorry, Lue, I'm right. You're out there to make a buck, and that pisses me off because you're providing false information. So that's one thing that I am bothered about. But the second thing is this constant, this is what I know, but I can't tell you this because it's top secret. It is releasing information without proof, visual, video. Like I said, a simple sheet of a yellow legal notepad from 20 years ago. All that does is put doubt and questions in people's minds instead of putting in specific information. Tonight, I think I put specific information where viewers can walk around tomorrow and go, that is interesting. How did, a video production person know that 20, stuff like that. And all Lue is doing is watering down the collective intelligence of the UFO community, which is a classic disinformation tactic. And possibly, I don't know this for sure, keeping a tepid monitoring of who's out there, who's coming up to him in conferences, what's being leaked to him by other whistleblowers or UFO people. Another counterintelligence tenant of keeping your pulse and your fingers in the community that you're trying to observe.
Chicken Coop Confidential has a really interesting, statement question. So he says, you've mentioned that you've paid $4,000 to obtain a name.
$41.25. I had to pay the PayPal fee.
Then he says, yeah, true. Stanton John Willett, how did you verify that this individual is indeed the same Victor connected to the footage and not a red herring?
Right. Great point.
Yeah.
Great question. The director of both documentaries with Victor, for some reason, doesn't care about all this, and I don't understand why. He does know that Victor's identity is important to ufologists, but I'm the first one that he could monetize it with. And he corrected me. I thought his name was Stan. And he goes, were you not listening to me? His first name is Stanton. And liars don't usually correct you, in correct information. And he said, look, I am not giving, he first wanted $15,000 for his whole story about meeting Victor and the actual name that was shown to him. And I will tell people, and I've said, and I'm going to say this in a new documentary, Victor came to the office with this VHS tape. He never took off his sunglasses. This is what we know. He produced a tattered Social Security card that they could not photocopy. So Jeff Broadstreet, the director, I'm just telling you what Jeff told me, said he scribbled notes on his legal notepad, which he showed me. And the name was Stanton John Willett. The first three letters of his Social Security, 262, which puts him born in Florida. And it's funny. He said he never took off his glasses. He was a pain in the ass. He was a chatterbox at time. The director said super hyper intelligence, but then the director says something, and because he doesn't know anything about our community. Remember in Eric Davis' story, most of the scientists in these programs are not IBM types. They're counterculture. They're hippies. They would sing Pink Floyd songs wearing sandals in the lab. This is from Eric Davis, whether you believe it or not. Jeff Broadstreet goes, and I said, oh, and so you put a toupee, a wig on top of Stanton? And he said, yeah. And he goes, it was a little difficult because he had to tuck in his ponytail in back. And I went, wait, what did you just say? And Jeff's like, what are you getting so hyper for? Victor had a ponytail and he had to tuck it underneath the wig. And I told him, I said, Jeff, I said, I know you don't know this, and this is beautiful, but we were told that many of these people in these programs are like a hippie counterculture type, wearing sandals and ponytail and, deadheads. And he's like, and he goes, that definitely would fit Victor's description. And I'm like, holy shit. He told me something he didn't really knew that was out there in the wind. Yeah. And so we haven't verified it, although with this. So the name is nowhere in America. There's one guy with John Stanton Willett who actually lived 10 minutes from my house. We don't think it's him. He doesn't look like him. We were told by an insider that his identity was scrubbed, that he was an ancillary member of Majestic 12, whether you believe it or not. Yeah. Then we had another insider. I have the piece of paper. It's an entry log. It's an entry log for Groom Lake. Bob Lazar is on this entry log. It's at the Inspector General's office in Washington, D.C. Folks, I'm telling you something that could get me in a lot of trouble. We had someone look for a Stanton Willett. The last name is first. They called back and said, there's two Willets that were at Area 51. And I'm doing the please God. He said there was a David Jonas Willett. And he goes, and there was a Stanton John Willett. I'm like, holy shit. Who did he work for? And he said he worked for EG&G at the time that this film was named, which is 91. I have the photocopy of the entry line from the logbook from Groom Lake, Area 51, that shows what Jeff Broadstreet said. Stanton John Willett was there from 88 to 91. We were told that he was there up until mid-2000s. And I have his name on a government. Well, actually, it's EG&G that keeps the logbook, the entry book, back when Bob Lazar claimed he was there. So I'm not saying this was a government; it was EG&G that was a contractor. But Stanton Willett worked for EG&G, and he is on that entry log at being at Area 51.
That's amazing.
Now, the last documentary, they picked him up in a car service in Rancho Cucamonga. I have shown Stan's picture a million places. He looks like Stan Dale. He looks like the wrestler Arn Anderson with the beard, and we took the beard off with artist rendition. So our next step is to go to Rancho Cucamonga. The government can wipe your bio a la Bob Lazar, but they can't wipe the memory of your neighbor, your schoolmate, you in a yearbook, so to speak. So we're going to go to Rancho Cucamonga. I'm just simply saying this. I find it funny that the director, who gives a shit about all of this, tells us the name, and that name ends up being on an entry log to Groom Lake from 1988 to 91.
That's unreal.
If it's a hoax of senior citizens to a car dealer that is on a proportion and a scale that has never been heard of before, that all of these senior citizens, including my main leaker, who gave me a list of names, allegedly watching that interview, one of them was the doctor on the alien's right. I called his wife. He's dead now. And she said her husband was a doctor, very secretive. It almost ruined her marriage. And she looked at the fuzzy picture of when we blew it up and said, that looks like my husband, whose name was Dr. Wilford Webb Wilson, who lived in Watsonville, California, who was a doctor for 40 years that has nothing on the internet about him except his obituary and a fifth grade picture. So ladies and gentlemen, I found the wife of the medic on the alien's right, our left, who looked at his fuzzy picture and said, that's Webb's bridge of his nose. And he was a doctor in the U.S. Air Force, and his secrecy almost ruined our marriage. Coincidence? Whatever. I did my job. You can do what you want with it. The truth will eventually come out. It's just one. If I didn't find Stan on Area 51, then Jeff Broadstreet could have been lied to. Of course, without a doubt. Yeah. He was shown a tattered Social Security card. But to find Stan Willett, to then have someone from intelligence tell me he worked for EG&G 3 weeks later, in Washington, D.C., somebody clandestinely photocopies his log line on a logbook that's at the Inspector General's office. Come on, folks. Isn't it maybe this? Maybe the video might be real and Victor might be Stan. Isn't that Occam's razor? Maybe the simplest explanation is maybe the most logical. But again, I think maybe it's 15%. Victor was used. They recreated this alien interview. They knew the coding. They knew what it looked like. They knew what the monitor looked like. And they did it as a public acclamation deception program. I hope people can appreciate. I think there's a 15% chance. And they used Victor because they knew he was angry at the government for keeping this secret. And they used Victor to get this out to the public. I do believe that there's an outside chance.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Sorry for talking a mile a minute.
Oh no!
Maybe I am a crazy Italian. Maybe
no,
right.
Italian and crazy, that they go together. So you're not. You're all right.
Oh, you must have met my wife.
I just happen to be Italian. Oh, your wife. I'm like, wait, am I supposed to laugh at that?
I'm like the Don Rickles of the UFO world with my wife. I'm kidding.
Well, Chicken Coop Confidential has a really good point here.
Okay.
Question.
Go ahead.
You can't see these, can you?
I can't.
Okay. Just want to make sure. If the footage is proven fake someday, how would that affect your view of Victor and the larger body of evidence around government alien interactions?
Awesome question. It won't affect me one bit. Folks, I want the truth. And if it's proven fake, we have proven Victor was not an actor. He worked for EG&G. So why is a former government contractor walking around with a very elaborate alien interview? Why? It doesn't make sense other than that it was done by the government because no one would have known that specific coding 27 to put it on the bottom of the film, and no one would know that that green blip is how some of these beings are monitored. I'm sorry, that is a fact. So it would prove to me that the government did this, and like somebody once told me, is that's even a more that's a more interesting story. Why is the government taking my tax dollars and making phony alien interview videos? Why? That's
Yeah.
monstrous. That's monstrous. So it wouldn't affect me at all, other than I want the truth, and I'll get the truth. And great question.
It is. Yeah, that was. Thanks, Chicken Coop Confidential. Could that be a maybe like a suit the alien was wearing, or
No, we have
whatever?
great question. We have been told if it is an animatronic doll, it is a it it might have a pole in the back that somebody is holding, but we've seen
Oh
kind of
no,
a
no,
side shot where there's no one in the back of this puppet. If it is a puppet,
no.
that it
That's
would
not
be
what
a
I meant.
oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, if it's real,
Oh,
what
if
if
it's
we're
real.
looking at it? What if he's wearing a suit that covers his true identity? We just see the eyes.
Oh,
Yeah, maybe we're not seeing. I mean,
yeah, he did not have any clothing on.
no,
That's for
okay,
sure.
okay.
And they did when the medic shows the light on his chest. You see the thorax, the neck, the shoulders.
Oh, that's
It's
right.
not 3 minutes, but it's like a couple of seconds.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's not wearing any clothes. We know that for a fact. And let me jump forward. If it's real, as a priest told me as when I was in Havana, Cuba in 2016, he said, if you prove this video is real, then if somebody produces a VHS tape of the crucifixion or a Polaroid, this is a Catholic priest, or a Polaroid of Moses parting the Red Sea, he grabbed my wrist and he said, you are holding the most significant historical document in human history because
Mm.
you are proving the oldest question in the world, are we alone? And he said, be very careful. If you prove this is real, you have something more historically important than the Dead Sea Scrolls. And he's right, because it's going to be the first time an actual extraterrestrial is being shown on some sort of documentation. So that's how the gravity of this video is if this thing is real. It's
You know,
scary.
do you remember? Of course, you remember the other alien autopsy.
Yeah, right.
Okay, well, that was a hoax that looked
Yes.
real, and a bunch of people from Hollywood special effects said, "Oh, we couldn't do that," and all this. So I feel kind of like we're in the same vein as like
We
with
might be,
with
Rich.
this.
We
Yeah,
might
like
be. Yes.
um,
But when I have
but
special effects
why?
people going, geez, the thing with the alien autopsy, if you want my opinion, I believe that was I believe Santilli, and he never really denied this. He saw that autopsy and then he recreated it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I am convinced of that because the last
Mm.
6 seconds is a 1940s army hangar with jeeps and medical personnel, 6 alien bodies, people in period 1940s Army and Air Force uniforms running around, 6 bodies. Has anybody realized that was the last 6 seconds? That was real footage. 2 guys that had no money to do that alien autopsy certainly couldn't have rented an Air Force hangar, 1940s Air Force hangar with jeeps and 6 alien bodies on stretchers. I believe Santilli saw the real footage. He couldn't show it because they probably threatened him, and he recreated that
Yeah.
alien to look like what he saw in the video. I am convinced of that. But yes, that autopsy was a hoax, and there were FX people that said, "Well, it's this or it's that." But yeah, it is they have the same premise where special effects people are inconclusive about it, without a doubt.
We're almost done with our interview here. It went so fast, but I wanted to ask you, well, the Jaime Maussan mummies, or whatever those things are.
Yeah, the
Now,
Nazca mummies.
Yeah, now if those things are legit, then I would have to say the thing with
That
Victor's
trumps the
legit.
video. Right. And that trumps my video. You've got a tangible mummy. And if you ever read some of the the language from the scientists that examined them, where where it was first said it's a llama's head and it was bones glued together, and that has all kind of been debunked.
It
And
has, yeah.
a metal plate that was fused to bone or something.
Do you know
The
why?
story is still out on that.
Yeah, they're going back from like 10, 15 years ago when people found that there was a guy doing that and he was
Right.
trying to sell them as authentic. Yeah, and
Exactly.
they debunked
Yeah.
it. So that's always going to be what people say
Yeah.
when they see this stuff.
Yeah, the
But
jury is still out on them, but that when that it gets conclusively proven, what writer, which I think is that they're actual, that they're actual were actual biological beings. I mean, it's going to set the world on place, and maybe it won't. We're so busy watching Wheel of Fortune and Orange County Housewives. Maybe nobody will give a shit. I don't know. I don't know at this point. I don't know anything anymore, to be honest with you.
it
And I
is
don't know many
confusing.
ufologists that can say that, right? It is very confusing.
I'm very confused. I am. The whole, and that's done on purpose, I think. And
Of
I
course
think
it is.
and I think that's what Lou came here to do, is to throw a lot of disinfo out there and bring his skill sets into the community. I don't know if
Right.
you've ever
Look,
seen the video where he says, "I'm not a UFO guy. I never cared about UFOs." Yeah,
right.
it's amazing.
But you took a hobby job at this department to study UFOs, but you weren't interested in them.
Did
Please.
you? Can you get into his jacket, and or is that all private? Like if we did a FOIA request about his history. See, I think Lou got
You can't get
demoted.
FOIA request on a I don't think on a military person that is not your relative or you don't have guardianship over. I've been down this road. So I
Okay.
don't think you can get information on Lou specifically, but that would be interesting. And again, if I was Lou, I would be showing my DD 214 where it
Mhm.
puts me, what departments I was with, what bases I was on, where I was stationed. I would show that to everybody first, right away.
Hell yeah.
Never saw it. Never saw it. Never saw it.
So what is he then?
I think he's a disinfo agent from the United States government, and instead of cutting him totally loose, they're paying him a little bit of money to go out there, because I know he is financially strapped. He's living in like a pull behind trailer at one point. So
That's what I heard.
if he's working for the government's not paying too well.
That's too bad.
But I think the government is giving him a couple of shekels to go out there and stir the pot and cause confusion and not say anything that's going to get the government in trouble. And he's doing exactly that. Folks, he's doing exactly what I just said.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Job well done, Lou. Job well done.
Job well not done. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a shame. It's a shame.
It is. It is. We
so
deserve better. That's all I'm
we
saying.
do. And
Yeah.
it's about time. I want that to happen now. I think
Yep.
see, I think they could have done disclosure while we were all at home in the lockdowns. That would have given us something to study.
Right.
The new,
We couldn't go to the bars and talk to each other about it, or couldn't go to school and the mothers and
Right.
fathers talking about it while they're dropping their kids off. You're right. COVID would have been perfect.
I
But
thought so.
they dropped the ball. I do. I agree with that. Yeah.
And I gotta ask, so you were a wrestler like in,
Yes.
like WWE type stuff?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. My
Would-
biggest
would-
stint was the AWA. We were on ESPN. I worked for them from 1988 to 1991. I had a Ric Flair gimmick. My name was the illustrious Johnny Stewart. I started off with Jerry Lawler and Jeff Jarrett in Memphis in 86 after playing
my
football
God.
at Memphis State. And it was really fun. I didn't make a ton of money on it because I didn't want to take steroids to the point of getting my body freakish. So I
Yes.
didn't make a lot of money, but I'm still alive at 58, where 660 of my friends, my colleagues, and my contemporaries are dead. It was
I
like,
know.
of heart attacks and all kinds of horrific road, the life of a rock star. And it's sad. It was like being a race car driver in the 50s and 60s where, you race during the week, and on Sunday you go to somebody's wake. And like I
Oh,
said, 60 literally of my contemporaries, friends, colleagues, my brothers, so to speak, in arms are
yeah.
dead. And I feel lucky to
Oh,
be a survivor after being in the business off and on for 25 years and not addicted to drugs and still married for 25 years. I am such an anomaly in the wrestling world, and I'm so grateful for that. I really am.
oh man, you are blessed, John.
Yeah.
That's it,
Yeah.
you know.
Thank you.
I thank you for coming on. This was so fast. I have so much more to go over with you, but if you want, maybe come back some other time
Yeah,
real
let's do
soon.
a part two. I really enjoyed myself. And again, I am so glad you took my offer to come on your program. I think you're a great guy. I think you're doing great work. And I'm not giving you a snow job. We need people like you in the community. And I've always looked at your viewers' comments, which are very poignant and really funny too. You've got a lot of great viewers, and I say hello to all of them. And thank you to them
Thank you.
for allowing me to bloviate for an hour and a half.
It was awesome, and I learned a lot.
Yeah,
And that's what this is all about, just bringing the information to the people. Let them make up their own minds, right?
absolutely.
Thank you, John. I'll talk to you real soon, and
Thank you,
hope you
Richie.
have a really good rest of your weekend, too. Be safe.
You too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Take care. Good night. I hate goodbyes. I'm the worst at goodbyes. Oh, that was so fast. Oh, thanks again, John. Thank you so much for coming on. What a quick hour and a half. All right, guys. So, look, tomorrow is Sunday. I have to do it, a members show for Rich Saves America. So, we're doing that tomorrow. Look, I may do GUFON member show tomorrow, too. So, don't be surprised. I'm getting my energy back under me. So I want to say thank you for everybody for hanging out. Thanks to the new members, a couple of super chats I saw. Thank you. And we'll be back. Thank you very much. Oh, wait. Hold on. Hold on. And Nathan. Nathan, thank you very much for the it looks like $11.76 or $12. It's hard to say because of the fees on PayPal, but thank you for that. That'll come in handy. Trust me. Thank you very much, sir. All right. Thank you. Moderators, super chatters, newcomers, and veterans. Thanks for making this night possible. We will be back for the members, maybe tomorrow, but we're doing Monday through Thursday. I may just do Monday through Friday. I don't know. Make it easy. All right. We'll see you on Monday. All right. If not, I'll see you at Rich Saves. And that's that. All right. Hey, if you ain't looking up, you ain't looking out. And before we get out of here, we have the poll. Do you believe Elizondo, hold on, is coming in at 10%, a legitimate whistleblower and UFO insider? Coming in at 12%, a military guy turned actor. At 18%, grifter. And number one, do you believe Elizondo is a paid disinfo agent for the government? Thank you, Anjali. And that ends the poll. We almost got 100 on that. Thank you. And we will see you peoples on the flip. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Is it good? Are we good? What do I usually say? I already said that. Oh, alien bless. It's not working.